Guys, and welcome again to my kitchen. I want to show you how to make Venezuelan arepas. They're little corn patties. We're going to stuff them with some shredded beef, and I'm going to make a Cuban style shredded beef. It's called Ropa Vieja. And then along with that, we're going to top it off with a sauce, and that's all. The sauce is called Guasacaca. It's a Venezuelan sauce. It's similar to that of a Mexican guacamole sauce. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's come on over and see that. I'm going to cut all of my vegetables very thin, julienne style. I'm going to do that for the onion, the bell pepper, and the tomatoes. So I'll show you a little bit of each. So if you see, it's all, it needs to look kind of like the beef, same beef side, the style that I've shredded beforehand. So now for the bell pepper, I'll do the same. I'm going to show you a little bit of all. So that's how the onion should look like. As far as your bell pepper, cut it fairly thin, like that, just regular pieces. You do that for the bell pepper, and then for the tomato, you'll do the same. And I remove the end, and then cut this in thinner pieces. And all of this is going to get sauteed as well. Now that my vegetables are cut up, I went ahead and cooked up the onions just until they're a little translucent but not brown yet, and then I'm going to go ahead and cook the rest of the vegetables. And I like to throw in some olives. I've gone ahead and cut these in half. Normally people like to add green olives, the ones that have the little orange center, but I prefer these Kalamata olives, so that's what I'm going to use. I like to add a little bit of ground cumin to this and a little bit of tomato sauce just to make it a little thicker. I've added tomatoes, but I still want it a little thick. And then you'll want to add your beef broth. I cooked my beef in water, bay leaves, black pepper, and garlic. I always like to do that because then I can use that same broth to prepare any other dishes. Sometimes I even make rice out of that beef broth. So I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to go ahead and add the shredded beef to the vegetable mixture. So you just add that to all of this, and then you continue cooking. So for the arepas, you're going to need 2.5 cups of water and 2 cups of pre-cooked white cornmeal. Use this brand, the Pan brand. It's a Venezuelan or South American brand. Don't use the typical American cornmeal. They just won't turn out the same. Make sure that your water is a little warmer than room temperature, that it's actually pretty warm. You don't want to use cold water because it won't cook this up. I'm actually needing to add 1 more cup of water to this, but just mix, and you can add a small teaspoon of salt to it as well. And flatten these out, round them out, and then flatten them out. You should have all these little corn patties formed. I make about 10 of these. You don't want them to be too thick. Just kind of lightly start forming them, keeping that circle shape. You could always wet your hands a little bit if it starts sticking too much. Like this, and now I've got this stove. I've got a flat pan that's already heated up. I'm going to go ahead and set those in there and then turn them until they get golden and crunchy. You want both sides to be really crunchy and then the center to be kind of soft. While the corn patties are cooking up in that skillet, I'm going to go ahead and blend all of these ingredients. I do want to mention that as far as the avocado goes, only add that before you eat these arepas. The only thing is that if you make this in advance for multiple days, the avocado goes bad quickly, so you don't want your sauce to get ruined by that. So just add that portion a little bit before. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend that. It's a creamy sauce. And then we're gonna move on now to our next topping, which is the red cabbage. I'll show you that. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this really fine like a coleslaw. I got some already cut up here on this plate. So once you have that all finished up, you'll wanna add your salt, lemon, and then I've got this sour sweet orange. If you can't find this in your grocery store, just use an orange and a lemon to make it. Let it soak for just a few minutes, and that's what we're going to top our arepas with. These should feel pretty crunchy and hard on the outside, but then soft in the inside. So I'm going ahead and cutting it up so I'm able to start filling them up. And then you get what is called the masa, which is the dough. Some people don't like too much of it, so you can kind of scrape it off on the side of your plate like this. And then we start filling with all the toppings. And you start layering it up. There's really no one way of layering it. Just kind of put my meat in there. As much meat as you'd like. I'm removing some of the broth because I don't like my arepa to get too soggy. This also tastes great. If you decided you didn't want to make arepas, you can eat it with brown rice or white rice. But there we go. Do that. I normally like to do this. Then some put some guasacaca in like that. And I like to chop it off with the cabbage. This is not a traditional thing. It's something that I just like to add on top. And that is it.